welcome the newcomers. Studying energy engineering and environmental sciences in Germany is a topic. Here are our guests. And the organizer of the session is My German University, a database where you can find study programs offered by German universities in English, in German, and there are more than 24,000 of study programs. If you want to know more about the universities themselves, and this is how you're starting your search, not by the subject, but by the university, you could also use our university finder, UniFinder, which is also very informative, kind of really helpful because some students have an approach of deciding where to study based on university and checking the rankings and so on, which depends on a taste, of course. Sometimes it's by a subject, other times by university. So we have both options for you. If you want to know more about studying and living in Germany from international perspective, feel free to check our articles. And these articles are very valuable because they are written by internationals who went through this process of applying and, of course, then studying successfully, sometimes with scholarships in Germany. So we try to share our road to Germany then with you. And, of course, the webinars. This part provides information about the study programs, as, for example, subject webinar today. But we also have general webinars when you meet somebody from My German University, usually me or Camilla, and then we present a specific topic such as scholarship, Uni Assist Visa, or studying in Germany, and then we also have a live Q&A. But believe me, today's or subject webinars are way more informative because you have also guest speakers and you get to know different programs directly before even applying or before even coming to Germany. This is our team. We are based in Hamburg and we are counseling in different languages. Now, without further ado, let me give the mic to Professor Dr. Tobias Donath, who will be presenting from Kiel University, Master of Science Environmental Management Study Program.
Today I will give you some information about environmental management, and environmental management is part of the Kiel School of Sustainability. That's a collection of different master programs that address the topic sustainability at different from different at different topics and foci. One is, as said, environmental management. Then we have a Master of Sustainability, Society and Environment, which has a more focus on society, things and politics. And then there's also a very economic-based Master, Environmental and Resource Economics. What is quite nice about the Kiel School of Sustainability is that in case you join us, that you will always be in contact with students from other study programs, and also by this you will be able to get different impressions and views on topics that are addressed in these study programs, and you intermingle kind of also in some of the modules. The Kiel School of Sustainability, so we try to support you to develop the skills to contribute to sustainable development at different levels, from local to international. And in the end, you should be able not only to think about problems, but also to solve problems, and through research-based, evidence-based knowledge. And this is also, you find this also in the teaching. So some more details about environmental management. Probably most of you probably already got some information either from the Insta account, where we have a little bit of information, but also from our webpage. Thus, feel free to ask if you missed something or something is not detailed enough. So we are a very interdisciplinary master program. We think we help you and enable you to develop complex, efficient, sustainable management concept. So complex solutions to complex problems. We are not only currently, but we are always facing. And of course, not only the current problems, but also future problems should be possible to be addressed, especially with the kind of the tools you acquire during your study time. Environmental management is a very broad topic. You might have experienced that when you looked for study programs that address this or similar fields, and that's also the case in Kiel. So we cover topics from nature conservation, soil protection, water protection, hydrology in general, coastal zone management, ocean, and so on topics, environmental monitoring topics, and sustainable land use topics. The latter also stems from the fact that environmental management is a study program that is rooted in the agricultural faculty and the mathematical natural science faculty at Kiel University. This broad field of topics we offer shows some flexibility, and this is also true for when you study environmental management, that we are very flexible. So basically you only have 4 core modules you have to fulfill, you have to take part in. These are the yellow ones. The one is managing, planning, and science projects that kind of aims at developing common ground, common base of how to do science. And you will experience when you join environmental management that we are very diverse. The students come from a very high, diverse background, from Bachelor, from law, politics, economics, biology, some environmental bachelors, environmental management, you name it. Basically, we are very open. The other thing is that we are very international. About half our students come from outside Germany, very few from Europe, but the 50% are basically joined from outside of Germany. And that makes things, it makes it important to kind of have these basic modules to that everyone knows, and also have an exchange how to do science and plan a science projects. The other one is a basic module about sustainable approach to environmental management, which addresses a kind of wide array of topics, of external lectures, and tries to kind of circle around the SDGs. The other 2 yellows, science project 1 and 2, you have to do, but again, already is you're very flexible. There you will have pursue a small science project where you collect data, where you do the analysis, you develop the project together with a supervisor, but you're free which topic you want to address. So we have very controlled experiments about shrimps and how they react to noise, to some at the other end of the gradient. This year we had someone addressing the some law enforcement of climate change and so on. Then we have these B section, knowledge and analysis. We will show you what we offer there in a second. Next slide. And then we have the scientific method section about GIS. That's one classic thing. Most of the students will join those modules to since it's a very basic method skill you should know. Then also statistics, statistic modules to have a basis there. And then you have 2 modules in section B where you're more or less completely free. You can choose any module offered at Kiel University, even from summer schools and so on, as long as it's taught in English. And then, of course, you have the master thesis in the end. Areas of specialization, that's the B section modules. So you have the ability, the option to specialize in one of these fields: diversity, ecosystem services, eco-hydrology, geoecology, human environment interaction, space and time, coast and oceans, which makes sense since we're quite close to the Baltic Sea, Kiel University, and environmental economics and politics. You can specialize in one of these sections, so you are free to take all the B modules from one of those, or you can also spread them across these sections. Again, you're very free to build your own profile and specialization, which is either very focused or more broad. One special thing we have in environmental management, that we have a cooperation with Poznan University, and there's the possibility that you go there for 1 semester. That would be the summer semester, join the courses there. And when you successfully complete the courses, you will be in the end, and you will be granted a double degree, that is an diploma from Poznan University and from Kiel University. It's the things you do there in Poznan, that it's a high focus on diversity and often water related. Okay, of course there are lectures, but there are also lectures. All of you know what a lecture is. But what is probably special is that, again, we cover broad field of topics. As mentioned before, we are based with the Faculty of Mathematics, Faculty of Agriculture, Nutritional Sciences, and Faculty of Business, Economics, and Social Sciences. So we have a broad offer of topics. Then we have several quite well and renowned research institutes we cooperate with. Hellshome Center, Alfred Wegener Institute, which is based at Sylt. There's also a practical course offered at Sylt. Then 𝘱𝘢𝘪𝘥, which is based in Kiel. Institute of the World Economy and Research and Technology Center, West Coast. Again, something related to coast and water and ocean. This shows up in some of the lectures, but more important for most of the students is that this offers an option to do science projects at these institutes. And then we have several international partner universities. And as at the other universities that will present today, you always have the option as soon as you join a German university to take part in Erasmus, so go to a partner university in Europe for 1 semester and get the expenses covered. There are a lot of practical exercises and excursions, different fields, different regions, and field experiments, excursions to different landscape management systems, lab practical work, and so on. So again, a wide variety. This is, for example, from a field trip to different types of farm, organic farm versus modern conventional farms, and discussion with farmers. The same true in forests. So more nature-based forestry and more conventional industrial, I don't know how you want to call it, but more intensive forestry at least. But there's also, of course, socializing, especially at the field trips. When we go somewhere for several days, we stay at some youth hostel kinds of things, and then we are there for several days. So in the end, you find this in more detail on our webpage, some admission requirements. Bachelor degrees, we are very open to any degree. So this list here is not complete. You should have a degree at 2.5 or better, that is 1 to 2.5. It's nice if you can show, especially if you're not from an environmental related study program, that you have some connection there since you, I don't know, visited some modules, you did some volunteer work, you did some internships or something like that. We need a language certificate, and we only start in the winter term. And today, I think it's the 24th of March. So you have 6 days left to apply via Uni Assist. What else do we have? You get the slides afterwards, I think, and so how you can now use the QR code, which will lead you to our homepage and our Instagram channel. We'll get also some additional infos. And then in the end, something about Kiel University. So Kiel University is quite big with 27,000 students. So you will always meet students in the city everywhere. It's about 10% or more than 10% of the population are students. Then, of course, we're close to the sea, so you always have the option to do something at the sea, not only go to the beach, but also you're able to do sailing courses and so on, and other things related to water, but also not related to water, of course. Nightlife is also very vivid. And the main thing is always the water in Kiel, but there are also special events during this year, which are nice distraction from studying. You also need a pause from time to time. Yeah, that's just from the welcome week. We offer a welcome week at the beginning of the semester where all students join of the Kiel School of Sustainability. Potluck is included. And that's the happy students at the beach waiting that you also come to Kiel, and hopefully we see you soon.
Let's move to University of Applied Sciences Stralsund and Professor Dr. Michael 𝘱𝘢𝘪𝘵 is joining us, who will present Master of Engineering, Renewable Energy and E-Mobility Study Program.
I would like to present to you the University of Applied Sciences, Stralsund, and particularly the study course Renewable Energies and E-Mobility. So that is a master course. And first of all, where would you find us? You saw that already in brief from the slide before. And then you would also, as we have a close-up now to Germany, you would find us to the most northeastern tip, right next to the largest island of Germany, which is called Rügen. So I already saw some slides from Sylt. So Sylt and Rügen are sort of competitors when it comes to, let's say, the nicest locations for domestic tourists in Germany. So to the western, to the most western tip, almost no. Let's call it to the western side, to the North Sea, you've got Sylt, and then to the Baltic Sea, you've got Rügen. Here's some impressions of our scenery of Stralsund. Stralsund is actually, compared to Kiel, for example, a little bit smaller. So we've got about 60,000 citizens that you would find there. And here's some impressions of the docks and an aerial of the ancient city core here. What is around Stralsund? What is to be found or within reach of, let's say, 1 hour's ride? So you've got the capital of our state, Mecklenburg-Vorpommern. Then the next largest city would be Rostock, located at the Baltic Sea as well, as you can see, about that size of Kiel. And then, of course, to the right-hand side, you see some images from Rügen, which is quite nice place to go during summertime, especially. Here's some facts about our university. So it's a tiny university. It's in particular a University of Applied Sciences. There's a little difference between the universities like the CAU that we saw before and the University of Applied Sciences. And that can be also seen by size. So if you have heard about the size of Kiel University, 20,000 students, we are a little bit smaller, 10-fold smaller. So we've got 2,000 students currently, about that number. Then also we are a young university, so we've been founded in 1991. By that time, it was a tiny bunch of just 175 students. And since we are a small university, we are only composed out of 3 schools or faculties, which is electrical engineering, computer science, mechanical engineering, and economics. So here is a better overview of our campus. And you see that this is sort of a remote campus, so it's not directly located inside the city. Whereas on the other hand, you can't get lost, and it's actually all on site. So what you see here is, apart from the buildings for lectures and laboratories of the 3 schools, is, for example, a restaurant that we have on site. We've got the gymnasium, so you can do sports here directly on site. And quite important is that we have accommodation here on site as well. So there's actually cheap housing available right on the campus. So that is a few images of exactly that, student accommodations. So we've got 18 2-story residential buildings. It looks somewhat like this, what you can see here to the right-hand side. And well, you can actually reckon yourself the capacity of students that we may offer accommodation to here. So it's generally 2 up to 4 tenants per unit. then you have to share either 2 bedrooms, and within a bedroom, there's 2 beds. And that one is basically 5 minutes walk away from the beach. You saw the image before. So it's directly on the campus, and the rents, of course, like with any goods that you're trading nowadays, well, of course, prices are rising, but that has been the most recent rent rates. So if you come to our place, you might wonder, would you be the only foreign student there? Which would have been somewhat like, let's say, 15 years ago. But by now, we've got a high percentage of foreign students of about 22%, as you can see here, and they're roughly coming from all over the world. And this is really yet another interesting feature which has been evolved for the recent 2 years. We are part of a community of 13 universities, and that in total is called the UniCoast. So how does that affect you as a student? It facilitates mobility. So once you get to our campus, you may, and you are enrolled for a master study course, for example, you may want to join some mobility programs abroad again. Maybe you want to participate in some blended intensive programs just for a limited time span of 2 weeks time, or maybe you want to go yet for another semester somewhere else abroad within that community of universities. This is well possible, and it's also most likely funded if you like to do so. While talking about application deadlines, so generally, if you would like to apply for the winter semester, I would recommend to start sending your applications from September on, in case that you would apply for the summer semester. Well, you really should start from March on. Well, the deadline is in case that you have to translate your GPA via uni-assist. The deadline for the next winter semester is then 1 month ahead to what you see here, and the same for the summer semester. So suppose, for example, you would apply for the winter semester, make sure that you submit your application and your complete paperwork to uni-assist. I would recommend by the end of April, beginning of May. Financial support is always possible to a certain extent, so it has to be checked out by our colleagues, so don't hesitate to reach out. I show you the contact details on the last slide. Now, getting into detail, we've got different English programs where you may join, where you may enroll, but today's focus is laid on renewable energies and e-mobility. That's a master study course. The title that is awarded is Master of Engineering in the end. And that is basically the structure of that master study course. So there is, by the way, there is also basically 2 versions that you may opt for. And this is the first version, the 3-semester version. But as you are, or let's say the prerequisite to get a master awarded in Germany is that you have to come up with a total of 300 ECTS in the end. So that accounts for your entire academic career. And if you would apply for this master study course, where you would come up with 180 ECTS instead of 210 ECTS from your bachelor's, you will get another option from us to make it happen. by this 4-semester option of our master study course. That is including some additional internship semester worth another 30 ECTS. This is, from my point of view, actually a good occasion to already establish some ties to industry and well, take your first steps in your professional career. Usually, students that would secure such an internship semester with a company, they would do the master thesis with the same company and then subsequently get a full position there. Well, oh yeah. Now let's decipher a little bit this table here. What you can see here. Well, the top green boxes are representing the mandatory courses, mandatory modules. And then, of course, we've got a lot of, here in blue, we've got a lot of elective modules. And then on the bottom, what you can see there, the gray modules are actually either or elective. So it's either one of those being a mandatory course, then you can opt for the other one, but you don't have to. And then looking at this image, you might wonder what kind of elective modules would we offer to you. So here's just a little excerpt of different electives that we will provide you with. So there's definitely a lot of renewables in there. So wind power plants, solar systems, that's prominent topics when it comes to renewable systems. But also hydrogen technology, because we are quite strong on hydrogen, also in terms of research. And then apparently fuel cell systems, pretty well combined to that. And then there comes the subjects that I would supervise, like advanced power electronics, control of electrical drives. And then we've got some import from our colleagues from the mechanical engineering faculty, vehicle management systems, and vehicle simulation and test drive. So what kind of research are we pursuing here in Stralsund? Of course, apart from the energy sector, there's also computer science, as you saw before. So we would also do some artificial intelligence. That's our colleagues from the computer and informatics fraction. And of course, within the economics faculty, tourism is a broad and very important topic there. Now, talking about different options to come to us. So if you are not sure yet whether you should enroll for a master study course, you can start with some short-term programs, and here's just 2 of them that we can provide to you. So during April, usually it starts mid of April, we would have a 2 weeks blended intensive program, which is called the Spring School. So we are inviting some international speakers and professors here, as well as students, to join our university. And from that, we are creating a very interesting program with focus on renewables in this particular case, of course. And then there is some somewhat broader approach with the Sustain MV, where this so-called summer school is a 2 weeks program that would actually bring you around all the universities here in Mecklenburg-Vorpommern, which are not too many. Now, what can you do after work, after studying during the weekends? So certainly you won't get bored. If you reach out to the international office, they will provide you and would update you with the latest events going on during the weekends. And that is always a good occasion to get around this place and to get to know new people, new fellow students. Then basically, what else happens on the campus. Apart from sports, you saw that already. So there is a gymnasium right on our campus. There's also student projects. If you look to the bottom, to the left-hand side, that is, for example, a racing team that already won European championships for several times now, for several consecutive times. And the competition in this case is actually to get a racing car as far as it can go and most effectively with the energy equivalent of 1 kilogram of hydrogen. So what you see there is a lightweight racing car equipped with a small electric drivetrain, and that one is powered by a fuel cell, by a small fuel cell. So that is something that you would find all in the back of the car. And this is an ongoing project. So we are quite successful with that competition for years by now. But there's also other racing teams. So there's conventional racing teams as well. There's racing teams with focus on motorbikes. And we've got the Sunspace team. So they are actually creating rockets. That competition is quite awesome. So you have to create, or you have to build a rocket that goes to a well-defined altitude and then falls down again. So that is the competition that they are pursuing. So to wrap it up, we are small. We are actually in the corner of Germany, but there is also some benefits that you should definitely enjoy once you find us. So we've got small groups. So supervision of professors is actually ideal. Then you've got the great collocation. And of course, you can imagine living here is not too expensive. So if you're seeking more information for the blended intensive programs, the short-term programs, as well as let's say, single semester mobility, please contact 𝘱𝘢𝘕𝘊𝘳𝘳𝘕. And if you are already quite determined just to enroll for a complete master study course, then you can direct your queries to Christina Banke. Okay. Thanks a lot for your attention.
Maybe there are also people who want to do first bachelor and then apply to one of the presented masters. So your time is here, dear attendees. And Anna Rose from Coburg University of Applied Sciences will be presenting Bachelor of Engineering, Electrical Engineering for Sustainable and Renewable Energy.
A very warm welcome to all of you joining us today from around the world. I'm happy to introduce our international bachelor degree program, Electrical Engineering for Sustainable and Renewable Energy. My name is Anne, and I'm the faculty coordinator. I'll guide you through the program. In fact, the distances in Germany are easy to manage. Coburg is right in the middle. It has direct high-speed train connections to European major cities. For you, it might be important that it is surrounded by well-known companies focused on electrical engineering. For example, Siemens, Bosch, Krones, Brose, or Grammar. Let's just have a glance at Coburg, his surroundings, and his beautiful campus. But now up to the most important part, our degree program. Here you see the rooftop outdoor photovoltaic lab. For your start, you need basic school-level math and science, and you should be able to speak English at around B2 level. The core of the curriculum covers math and scientific basics, but it also focuses on soft skills, cultural awareness, and both English and German to help you feel confident in an international environment. During the first 4 semesters, most of the technical courses are taught in English. You will deepen your understanding of math and physics, and you'll get introduced to AC systems as well as different measurement techniques. After some electrical basic things get more futuristics, you'll explore modern energy systems like photovoltaics, smart grids, high voltage tech, and power electronics. The topic is building energy systems that won't harm the planet, which feels a pretty like solid plan for the future. When it comes to control and measurement systems, you won't just push buttons, you actually understand what's going on behind it. In your 5th and 6th semesters, things get seriously advanced. You'll explore the chemistry behind it, especially battery chemistries. You learn electrical energy storage systems and hydrogen technologies, how to measure their performance and even check whether they make economic sense. Because cool tech is great, but cool and affordable tech is even better. Photovoltaics also gets its own spotlight. Then you'll move on to electrical drives and static converters and how they both form a team to make machines move without complaining. Finally, you tackle high voltage technology, electrical energy distribution, and intelligent energy systems. Basically, the 3 things that keeps power grids alive. In your 7th semester, it's time to jump into the real world. Thanks to all the language training you've had so far, you'll be more than ready to survive meetings, emails, and so on. The internship lasts 20 weeks of full-time work plus 2 practical courses. During the accompanying seminar, you learn how to plan, carry out, and document a scientific project of your own. Now you are in the final state of your studies. In the Bachelor colloquium, you learn how to design a solid presentation, choose the right media, and speak confidently in a professional setting. It's your training for becoming someone who can present without sweating. The engineering project works hand in hand with our bachelor thesis. This is where you tackle a real engineering problem, usually in a company, and show what you can. Let's have a look at some of our labs.
Can you explain to us what is circuit means?
Yes, this is a typical PV cell. You have a PN junction, then there's a PV cell, then you have a resistor, and it's electrical circuit. And now you have to adjust the maximum power. How does it be achieved? How you can achieve it?
So adjust the resistance so we can get, this is the characteristic of the current and voltage. So we adjust the resistance so we can get the maximum.
So-called standard conditions, and we do in a flash for a short time, so the artificial sun is just blocking for, and then we can start to measure. Sometimes you have PV units, they look very nice, but there's a problem inside you can't see, and for that we can use 𝘱𝘢𝘳𝘵𝘯𝘪𝘐. And we can also measure this IV curve that you have.
Two feeds there. Yes, you can.
There's two movies there. Here we see one, then you can detect which point it was, because in the IR and the following movie they showed.
Four slides are about formalities. I'll just hurry over them and you can review them later. Our admission requirements. No, German is needed at the beginning. Language requirements. English proficiency at level B2. Tuition fees. And finally, one last tip. Let us check to see if your previous qualification can be recognized, which will save you time and money. Let's wrap it up. If your questions wasn't answered here, just send me an email. I'm looking forward to you. Thank you.
To Professor Dr. Carsten Mann, who will be talking about Master of Science Forestry System Transformation, a study course from Eberswalde University for Sustainable Development.
Welcome and good afternoon, dear participants. I'm the last one in the row, and I'm happy to introduce to you one of our international master study programs, Forestry System Transformation. In contrast to some previous speakers, we are not at the sea, but we are in the forest of Brandenburg, Eberswalde. It's a small city, but very closely located to Berlin. It's just half an hour from Berlin, and half of our students are based in Berlin. The other half are living in Eberswalde, and you can have the best of the two sides of the vibrant capital and Eberswalde University, which is a small but very innovative university. We have about 2,500 students, and we are very well known in Germany for our forestry education, dating back up to 1830, but meanwhile we became quite modern and also international, and one of our latest study programs is Forestry System Transformation. So what is it about? It's about forests, but it's also about people. And I assume many of you know when we think about what is the linkage between forests and society, how are we depending on forests, we think of timber and the provision of non-timber forest products. But forests are much more than timber production. They are also a producer of many other goods and services, such as regulating for clean air, for clean water. They are providing habitat for biodiversity. There are places to recreate and for nature-based tourism. And the challenge is how can we provide all these, the large range of goods and services that we as a society benefit from. The problem is that we are living in a very dynamic world that is characterized by quite some societal challenges when we think about climate change, loss of biodiversity, with all the negative impact this induces on society and on the way how we depend and live with the way how we manage ecosystems. And we need to find innovative pathways for transformation to secure our living basis. So kind of the point of departure for our study program is to ask, how can we adjust the management of forest ecosystems to secure and to provide us the range of forest goods and services? And this is quite challenging. Besides that we talk about very diverse forest ecosystems and diverse forest management approaches, also the way how we as a society look at forests and kind of define what's important for us, it's quite dynamic. It changes over time. Sometime it's biodiversity in the spotlight, then it's climate protection. Now it's again the production of timber. So the question is, how can we acknowledge these varying societal demands, and how can we ensure the functioning of forests to a way that it sustainably provides society with the required functions and services. And when we look around, and we do that quite a lot in the study program, we can identify many good examples on a global level that show us examples how this provision of ecosystem goods and services can be done. Often, these good examples are very local, they are in niche, and they are spread. We find them in the global north, and we find them in the global south, and we would like to learn from them. So what is the study program about? It is about learning novel forest management and planning approaches. It is about the identification and the assessment of large global trends and the impacts. It's about a better understanding of new policy and business models for the provision of FES, so forest ecosystem services, and it's about methods for dealing with diverse actors' interests, dealing with conflicts, and identifying the trade-offs in order to explore possibilities for system innovation and transformation. If you want, this is an overview of how we designed the study program. In the center is our study subject. So we always look and focus on forestry systems, which we understand as coupled social ecological systems. So it doesn't make sense in our view to view only on ecosystems or only on societies, but we are interested in the interface and in the interdependency. And we look at these forestry systems from 4 different perspectives. From a perspective of forest ecosystem and management, what is at stake to manage a forest according to different objectives. We look at these forestry systems from an economic systems rationale, mainly leaning on ideas of ecological economics to understand what is an economic system, how come that we have a price, for example, for timber, but not for biodiversity habitat, what are the challenges, what are the chances, what are also the limitations. The third perspective is on governance and policy. What needs to be done that a problem becomes a problem? How can we form coalitions? What are different kinds of policies? How can we design different policy mixes? And we have a final perspective on innovation and transformation in order to understand how is the dynamic of our system? How can we induce a transformation? What is the role of an innovation in there? So as you can see, We are a forestry study program, but we have a very strong socio-economic focus, leaning on to concepts of economics, of policy, and of innovation. So this slide shows you the structure of our study program in the first year. This column, or the first column, is the first semester, where we try to understand the status quo. How come that a forestry system looks like it is? And the second semester, it's more a forward-looking view to understand what are the transformation potentials of this system. And the different colors represent our 4 different perspectives I just introduced to you. So a perspective of forest resource management, of economics, of governance policy, and of innovation and transformation. And we translate these perspectives into modules. So this master program is organized in block modules. Each module is 3 weeks long, to dive really deep into the subject matter, and it's quite straightforward. So we start with the model on forest management, followed by a module on economics, followed by a module on governance and policies, followed by a final module. In light color are our electives. So with these electives, you are able to define a specialization direction, for example, on carbon sequestration and accounting, fundamentals of measurements and modeling. So that is more about GIS and big data management, or water and nutrient management. And what is nice in Eberswalde, we created common time slots with all our other international study programs that allows you to select electives not only from this study program, but also from other study programs. So there's quite a large variety on that. So this is the first year, straightforward module after module. You get a range of perspectives. The second year, you are much more free. And the third year is reserved for your research project, where you can do classic an internship with an administration, forestry administration, or a forest company. And the 4th semester is reserved for your master thesis. The idea is that here you can sharpen your focus. So when you come across a topic of interest where you say, okay, this is something I would like to deepen, we help you, we assist you in finding the right company or administration for an internship, or you can already work on a small study project, which, when this topic catches you, can be enlarged to your master thesis later. So first year, it's quite seminar structure. Second year, you are much more free. In a nutshell, that means this is a consecutive master program for graduates with a background in forestry, but we also accept students having a background in natural resource management. So when you have a bachelor in environmental sciences, in natural resource management, or agricultural sciences, we usually accept you. You need to be aware it is a forestry study program, but with a very strong socio-economic and systems-based focus. So it is a lot about economics, modern economics, I would say, and it's a lot about political sciences, understanding of policy and governance. It's deeply inter and transdisciplinary, so we work a lot with practitioners, but also by these 4 perspectives, by nature, it is very interdisciplinary. We start every winter semester, 4 semesters long, 120 credits. We have 28 study places. So like my previous colleagues, these are small classes. We work closely together. Language is requirement is English B2. We are highly international. Everything is in English. All the reading, all the lectures, all the reports, everything is in English from these 28 people. From the past year's experience, it shows we have a handful of Germans and the rest are coming from all over the world. So this is really the spirit of this FST study program that lives also from these intercultural experiences. What can you do with FST later? Of course, as a forestry study program, you can enter the world of forestry and forest administration. If you seek to do this, you need to have a bachelor in forestry. If not, and this is, I would say, the main job market, it is for companies in the area of bioeconomy, the voluntary carbon market, the health sector, forest therapy, it's a big topic. So the merging with forestry sciences and medical studies. Of course, the forestry and timber processing industry, policy consultation. There are quite many of our graduates who work with ministries of the environment, of nature conservation, also international organizations, international and national certification bodies. And like I said, you can also join the forestry administration pathway. This time here to present is way too short. Also, we are at the end of the session, and I think it would be good to have some time for questions. You find much more information about the FST study program, as well as other study programs we offer in Eberswalde on our webpage. There's also a nice image movie with voices from alumni and from different professors. And saying this, of course, it's not only lectures and a seminar room, but we go outside. We profitate from the vicinity of Berlin, where, let's say, much of the policy making is done. For Germany, we go on field trips, and we work very closely with practitioners. And well, if you're catched by this, if you're interested in forestry with a passion to policy and economics, we are looking very much forward to welcoming you in Eberswalde.
Thank you very much, Professor Mann. Thank you, everybody, for the presentations, for taking the questions, and for staying during the whole webinar. And dear attendees, for your interest. Let me start with the questions for the last two programs, as they did not have too much time to answer, and Professor Mann just finalized. So let me ask first about the bachelor's program. Anne Rose, is it possible to do a 𝘗𝘢𝘪𝘵𝘳𝘪𝘐 in Coburg?
Yes, it's possible. It's right here on our campus, indeed. And we do it for whole Bavaria. Yes, it's possible. But for our study program, Electrical Engineering Bachelor, you do not need it because the first 4 semesters are completely in English. And the learning of German happens parallel, is integrated into the study program.
Mm-hmm. No, I probably this person is asking in case his or her, I don't know, high school is not recognized as Abitur in Germany, and then they need to do this extra year or a 𝘗𝑢𝑔𝑒nkolleg in Germany. So then you could check, dear attendee, if you're still here, a 𝘗𝑢𝑔𝑒nkolleg in Coburg, or you could do a 1 semester and 1 year of university studies in your home country, and then you can skip in case you need a university entrance qualification to have it equivalent to Germany, then you can check it these 2 ways. And another question for you, because you are unmuted. Would I need to study extra online courses of physics or math before starting to keep up with the first semester? Let me put it this way. Coming from non-German high school, is it frequently the case that people need to be a bit more prepared, or is it enough to come with high school certificate?
It's just enough. It's the exception that people do it. You can do it. It would be okay. It would be a good preparation, but it's not normal. It's the exception.
Thank you. Professor Mann, there are 2 questions for you as well. Hello, I'm interested in applying knowledge to African forest governance. Are there case studies or research topics related to tropical or developing country forestry systems? And are students expected to already understand certification systems like F.Sc or PEFC before starting?
All right, thanks for the good questions, already jumping into the forestry topic. In general, you don't, if I start with the second one, you don't need to come with the background knowledge on certification systems. You will learn this in class. In case you don't have knowledge about forestry in general, we prepare you. Like we have an introduction week to get you at least to a level where you can distinguish a fir from a beech tree and to get some basic insights. But for all other modules, we kind of, we put you on the hand and we put you on track. So no need for certification knowledge in advance. With regard to knowledge about African cases or Global South cases, we have them. So we understand ourselves as an international study program, and especially if we think of new ways how to incentivize provision of ecosystem services, payment schemes, for example, often we find them in the Global South. And we have cases also in Africa. Plus, we collaborate since a long time with Ghana, for example. So since the beginning, we have quite a constant group of students coming from Ghana, also from Nigeria, from Ethiopia, who bring automatically also their experiences with them. And this is something that also we in the study program benefit from. So the experience and the background knowledge of the students who are attending, and this is highly international. So from the cases, from the content, but also from the students.
Thank you so much. Back to Anna-Rose and the bachelor's program. The first semester is the first semester online always, or is it possible to join physically as well?
It's generally online, and we have a German study program equivalent, but it's slightly different. And in the English spoken, we want to nivellate the students on the same level, to put them on the same level, and therefore it's no hybrid degree program. It's generally online. But you can move to Coburg and then get known to the campus. You can live in the students' residence and do the online program. And that's the advantage, that you could learn the German language much more easier.
Thank you. Professor Mann, somebody is asking, I come from environmental economics. How deep does the program go into economic modeling? You mentioned it's about economics, political science, and valuation of ecosystem services.
Modeling, we don't do so much. Of course, we about a fourth of our modules are economic modules. We start with a recap of environmental economics, or reasons of market failures, and kind of different market-based instruments. But then we depart quickly from this and we enter the area of more of ecological economics and how to integrate also natural or planetary boundaries into economic systems. We go deep into payment schemes and incentive-based instruments. This we do a lot, and we go deep into valuation studies for different types of forest ecosystem services. What we don't do is much on behavioral economics or modeling. So like this.
Good, thank you. I have a question for all master's program and the bachelor's as well about the gap year. Specifically, somebody said, I did my bachelor's 9 years ago and was working during the whole time. Is it a problem for the program application? Professor Mann, if you wish. No, it's not a problem. I think, yeah, Professor Birchhoff?
I would even say it's a good opportunity to boast with that practical experience, because then you can actually avoid the internship semester in our case, because that accounts for a minimum another 30 ECTS, and then it would reduce the duration of her studies.
Thank you. Professor
with
Donner? Yeah, go ahead, Anna Rosa.
And with us, it's no problem either. We have many such students with professional life, and they are doing very well.
Also no problem for Kiel.
Thank you. Another question was about GPA. I saw there was already an answered question about the GPA, but maybe we could once again in a round briefly say if you have specific amount of students that you accept and what is the GPA required. Even though it's a bachelor's program, Anna Rose, maybe you still have restrictions, and also the GPA from high school could sometimes be important. So let us start with you, and then I ask the master's programs.
That I would like to answer in a written. Just send me an email and I find it out.
Thanks so much. Professor Birchhoff?
Well, yeah, I didn't mention that on my slide, so sorry for that. Actually, we've got a restriction. GPA should be better than 1.8 German standards. If it is worse, it's not lost for you. So if there is a GPA between 1.9 and 2.3, you have to submit some additional motivation letter, and then we're going to decide on that. But beyond 2.3, no chance.
And meanwhile, the GPA calculator, please keep in mind this is a German system, and the GPA calculator is in chat, so in case you need to convert, dear attendees. Professor Mann?
No, officially there are no restrictions to this. Like I said, there are 28 study places. When you have the right background, you can apply. And usually we accept, so there's no numerus clausus, but as the program gets more and more full, of course, we take a look to ensure a certain balance, but mainly with a view on background and nationalities and less the GPA.
Thank you. And Professor Donner?
I mean, for us, environmental management, it's 2.5. So you have to have an average of 2.5 or better. And if you have a grade lower than 2.5, so 2.6 and so on, so worse, then you cannot be accepted.
Yeah.
I've now had assistance from a colleague. We have no GPA restriction for our study program.
Great. Wonderful. Then, dear attendees, I know there are questions coming in, and you may have also like tomorrow when you digest all this information. So please check the program pages carefully. Usually they also have frequently asked questions section when you find out the information, or as our panelists kindly shared the emails are also in chat, and